Hello, I'm Leonardo Blake, I'm 61 years old and I'm a homosexual. Was that alright?
Yeah, that's good. In 1967, homosexuality was finally legalised. What did you feel when you heard the news?
I was very excited and felt ecstatic. Of course, I could not show this. My father was shouting at the TV homophobic profanities, such as puff and fags. I went up to my room and secretly had a party with my toys. Mr. Giraffe and Mr. Elephant were extremely happy, as I had once thought they were secret homosexual lovers who hid their love from fear of being arrested. And I was happy in the fact of knowing I could no longer be arrested for being who I was. I was 12 years old at the time. You may think this was too old to be playing with cuddly toys, but I had nothing else to do, and I still loved living in my own little world, away from society. I later found out that this bill did not make much difference in regards to people's attitudes towards homosexuals. They still spat at us in the street and shout homophobic profanities at us, and still bashed us around in the street. You see, even though it is now law and legalized, you cannot change people's views. Those who are homophobic, which was most of the population, will remain homophobic, whether there is a law or not.
So do you think it's got any better for homosexuals with this law?
Well, of course it did. Now homosexuals could no longer be arrested for having sex with a person they love. It was now the first time homosexuals had been protected by law. Also, it helped a lot of people like myself to be who they wanted to be. I'm just saying that you cannot change the way people think. It will take another 40-odd years before homosexuals were truly accepted into society. After hearing the fabulous news of gay liberation, I later found out it did not apply to me.
What do you mean?
The law only legalized gay sex between two men from the age of 21 upwards. Which means during my boarding school days I was illegal, and even in today's laws I would still be regarded as illegal. But thankfully the age of consent has dropped from 21 to 16. But that was only in 2001. I was 46, and had broken that law I celebrated more times than I cared to remember. I only went with men of the same age. It was not until I was 21, as the law dictated, I went with older men. People might think it was sick that I was having sexual encounters so early on, but children these days are having sex earlier and younger.
So in 2004, civil partnerships between two men were legalised. What did you think about it?
I was 49 going on 50. And the notion of getting married was very exciting. I never dreamed that I would ever get married, and here it was, finally legalised. Of course, it was not a proper marriage, but it was a step in the right direction. It was also in this year that the Gender Recognition Act was passed, which was nice to know that I could now legally change my sex. Although I was an effeminate homosexual, I had no wish to become female, but that does not mean it was not nice to hear I could be.
Did you ever enter into a civil partnership?
Oh yes! I had been with this gorgeous man for 15 years before I entered into a civil partnership with him. He was the owner of the Banbury Players Theatre in Banbury in Nottinghamshire. We met during a play he was putting on. It was a fantastic play by J.B. Priestley, called An Inspector Calls. I was playing the role of Inspector Ghoul, which was a fantastic role, a role of such power and authority. Theo loved my performance in that play, and he cast me in many other productions for the Banbury Players. We went out to dinner one night, and we were talking, and we fell in love with each other. And 15 years later, he entered into a civil partnership with me. And 10 years later, we got officially married, for all the world to see. It was a miracle how, in my lifetime, we had gone from penalisation to liberation to civil partnerships and now marriage.
It's a new dawn, a new day, a new life, a